How did we get here? Hauling ourselves out of bed at 4:30 in the morning to beat the traffic and get to site. Because the industry, in its planning arrogance, chose to treat commuting misery as a non-issue. Because contractors, clients, site managers, and local authorities never built into schedules the chaos of rush hour and congestion. We nodded along, accepted the early starts, swallowed the long drive, and turned fatigue into normality. How did we get here? Forced into self employment, labelled as independent contractors, stripped of workers' rights. Also, firms can dodge payroll, pensions, holiday pay, and sick pay. Because somewhere along the line, the narrative was hijacked. Flexibility became a one sided sword. Rather than a genuine freedom, it functions as a mechanism to shift risk and cost onto individual workers. In 2025, over a third of the UK construction workforce is self employed. That didn't happen by accident. That happened by design. Now you pay your own tax, your own insurances. You cope with financial gaps, chase payments. You've got no safety net at all. All because the industry wanted you off the books, but constantly on call. How did we get here? Your phone is a leash. You answer at 7 o'clock on a Sunday evening. Site issue, urgent, can you sort it? Because communication tech is cheap, reliable, instant, and someone decided always on serves productivity. So now your time is no longer your time. You lose rest, downtime, separation. You take responsibility home. And we accepted that erosion of boundary as just how things are. How did we get here? Our every motion tracked, every machine monitored, every worker ID swipe logged, CCTV cameras watching, telematics reporting every minute of machine idle time or movement. Because surveillance was sold as safety and accountability, but it's fast becoming control first and suspicion second. We turned work sites into panopticons, every break, every detail, every hesitation recorded. We accepted this creep by consent under the banner of compliance. How did we get here? Being forced to prove competence in tasks you already perform each and every day, to get certificates, refresher tests, cards, audits, even though you've been doing those tasks for years. Because compliance culture took over. Certification regimes became gatekeepers rather than enablers. You pay, you sit tests, you prove yourself just to keep doing your job. Experience gets ignored until it's on paper. How did we get here? Training by people who've never worked a day on site in their life. Classroom trainers that read slides, tick checklists, quote rules, but who have never been in the trenches, have never experienced the struggles, the stresses, and the challenges. The gap between training and reality is wide and it's growing. Yet we treat curriculum compliance as equal to lived competence. We accepted it because the system demands standardization, and real site experience is messy, undocumented, and sidelined. How did we get here? Reporting to a middle manager fresh from college or a diploma, armed with spreadsheets, KPIs, but with zero boots on the ground experience, zero practical scars. Because hierarchy was built around cost and control, not wisdom and merit. We assumed management skills are teachable anywhere, and we sidelined the field veteran. You, with your decades of know how, now take orders from someone who couldn't do your job if their life depended on it, and you swallow it because you need the job. How did we get here? Process overload, performance reviews, audits, safety checklists, toolbox talks, quality rounds, performative nonsense in place of real improvement. Compliance theatre became the default substitute for actual vigilance. Hours spent filling forms and checklists, all while corners are still being cut and hazards persist. We've confused documentation with execution, and we accepted that circus because liability demanded a paper trail. How did we get here? Wearing 10 hats at once: operator, foreman, trainer, problem solver, site liaison, subcontract coordinator, logistics fixer, planner. all without extra pay, all without extra support or clarity, because efficiency culture demanded lean staffing. We have competence cards that permit us to do one specific task, yet in reality, we're juggling dozens. How did we get here? When things go wrong, you take the fall, you carry the can, you fix the mistake, explain the failure, you absorb liability. Yet many of the real decisions, budgets, sequencing, design, procurement, risk, were made upstream by people who never even visit the site. We allowed the shift of blame downwards. We normalised workers acting as the clean-up crew for managerial incompetence. How did we get here? An industry so demanding that we have hundreds of workers each year killing themselves just to escape. Workers who can no longer take the stress, the pressure, the abuse, the hassle, the constant threat of unemployment and financial ruin. How did we get here? We stopped asking why. We stopped resisting. We accepted the absurd and the unreasonable, and we rationalized it. You can look across sites, across contractors, across trades, and assume this is how things must be done. When did questioning go out of fashion? When did complicity become virtue? How did we get here? I'll tell you. As an industry, as a workforce, and as individuals, we rolled over. We surrendered. Employers had us by the balls, and when they squeezed, we caved. It was a small surrender at first, a bit more responsibility with no more pay, but it escalated. We allowed it to. We allowed our rights to be eroded. We complied with each new change, each new shift in employment terms. They'll tell you that you're an asset, that your contribution is vital, but ultimately, you're just a number on a spreadsheet, nameless and expendable. That's how we got here.